Welcome back to Misguided Shenanigans, kids. My name's Nick, of course, with me, my West Coast brother from another mother, Finney. Finney, what up, bro? It's been a hell of a week. How's your week been, man?
Dude, my week has sucked. Just sucks.
Oh, Jesus.
Let me just start with anybody that is looking for a job right now. I feel for you because I'm going through that process and it is a nightmare. It is brutal. It is rough. Um, it's a lot different than 2 years ago.
Oh, yeah. A lot different. I mean, I just went through it too. It's a lot different. Everything is, I don't know. I mean, now they're using algorithms for your resumes and all this other shit that's really I feel like a pretty big damper on the job search, really.
It's almost like the hunt for the Red October.
Yeah.
It is that hard to go through this process to find the right job, not just a job, but the right job. It's almost like looking for a unicorn in a way.
Well, and it's funny too, right? Because everybody's hiring. Everybody's
Yep.
hiring right now. Right now, right now. Right now, right now, everybody's hiring. But it seems that nobody wants to pay what you're worth. They need bodies because they're short staffed. And this isn't any industry, man. I mean, I'm talking digital marketing, retail, anything to do
Warehouse,
with anything. Yeah.
leadership roles, call center,
Yeah.
everywhere.
All of it.
Everywhere is getting hit hard. IT jobs.
Yep.
It's so crazy because the old days when we were growing up,
Yep.
you'd go somewhere, fill out an application, turn in a resume, and then Career Builder, Indeed, LinkedIn, all these things came around.
Well, hold on now. We filled out paper applications.
Yes.
They were paper applications that you filled out right there at the desk
Mm-hmm.
and you handed in with hopefully you had a copy of your resume handy. Anyways, sorry, continue.
Yep. And so then it transitioned to online searches
Yep.
and using these companies, but now it's gone a step further. So to get a job now, and so to kind of give our viewers a history of where I'm at and why I'm at there, I was working for a company, not going to name who it was or give any details. Don't want to get into that. But worked for a company that had a major layoff, had several rounds of them. I was a top performer, lead manager, got a perfect review, everything, and was still impacted because of how severe the cuts were. Everyone in this last round, they were all top performers that got cut, right?
Yep.
And so, I'm thinking, okay, do what I did last time. Put together a nice resume, get it out there, good to go. But in just a 2-year period of having this job, the market has changed so much where it's not just putting in an application. From one of my benefits that I got in my severance package was I get to work with a company to help me find a job, help me with my resume building, help me with my job searches and all that. And
Nice.
at first I'm like, I'm pretty confident. I've been able to get jobs in the past on my own. I've been able to write my own resumes or get somebody to write one and then use that template and stuff. And, I can interview really well. I'm good at getting my resume to the top of the stack. So I feel pretty confident. I'm glad I took advantage of that benefit because I realized I am not prepared, nor do I know anything about applying for a job anymore. Nothing at all. And I've been working for 20 years now. So it's not like this is new. It's not like I'm applying for a new job. Like all this is new to me. I had to go job searching 2 years ago and it wasn't this drastic. But now it's 30% applying for the job and 70% networking for the job. So let's start with the bare bones beginning. First, you have to have a resume.
Yep.
But you can't have just any resume. Oh, no. You got to have a resume that gets past the API and the bots.
Right.
Because the way the job market is, there is so many people looking for jobs because companies are forcing people back into work and people want to stay remote. To find good quality candidates because there's less people in the workforce than before the pandemic, companies are hiring and having to pay more wages now, so they're stealing from other companies and poaching. You also have just, you know, industry changes and all this stuff. Like there's a lot of stuff going on that's causing the job market to be a job seekers market, which we haven't seen in many, many years, right? It's
Hmm.
been an employer market, and the employers have dictated this whole thing for years. So now there's a hard time adjusting. So to be able to weed through all the candidates that they're getting, they're using API and algorithms to sift through the resumes. So if you don't have certain skills listed on your resume, you don't have certain things listed, you don't have it put in a certain formatting,
Yeah.
just where you place the wording in the letters, the APIs and bots won't pick it up to fill out your information.
Yep.
So the first thing is you almost have to have somebody build your resume now, or have that skill to where you know how to build it, know the formatting to use, know how the APIs and bots work, which is not an easy feat to do and learn.
Yeah. Well, I think what was different for me. I mean, obviously, like I had your help with my resume and had a couple other people put in too. But what I did instead of just using, so I used the shit out of Indeed and I used the shit out of LinkedIn. Like I got this job that I currently have now through LinkedIn.
Yep.
That's how I got it. The job was posted on LinkedIn. I submitted my resume that way. So I know you can like, when your resume is posted on LinkedIn or Indeed, obviously it'll show and it'll get through this. But what I started doing, because I was 3 weeks, I think, without a job, if I'm not mistaken. And so I literally went to everything that I thought I could do. Not even didn't even know if I could do it, but I thought I could. I literally shot my resume over to that job posting rather than let LinkedIn Indeed do their thing because of the AI and the algorithms and the keywords and all that other shit. Like I didn't think it was, that's what I did. Now, you know, works for some, doesn't work for others. You're looking for a higher position than was uh I was not. I can't think of the word right now. Um
We're looking for two different things.
yes,
So
correct. There you
what
go.
what
Perfect.
works for you doesn't work for me. What works for me
Right.
doesn't work for you, which is
Exactly.
is weird because it's never been quite that drastic, right?
Agreed. Yeah, I agree.
Usually, like we would do similar things in our resume writing, in how we're looking for jobs, and yeah, slight changes, but not as drastic as they are now.
Yeah. Well, and I think you're right too. Like it's a job seekers market, man. People aren't just going for the first thing, for the first one that replies.
No, they're
They're
stacking up
they're
offers, they're delaying it, they're pitting
yeah.
offers against each other. People are taking jobs for companies that they're not thrilled about to work that job, or they're starting training waiting for an answer from the job they really want, and then they're leaving like mid training before
Yeah.
they start all these different things, which is throwing chaos into the market.
Right. Yeah.
You've got
Nope.
you got people that were lifers that probably would never look for a job, but now they're being told they got to go back to the office, and they like remote life, and they're like, "Well, I know I'm worth more now. Before I was happy, but I'm not happy anymore. I'm going to look now, whereas before I wasn't looking." So a lot of these lifers that people thought were going to be in these positions for years, it's no longer the case. Now they're looking when after they've been in the job for 5 or 10 years, and they thought they were going to be there another 5 or 10 years.
Yeah. Yep. 100% right, man. And it's funny too because even in the industry that you and I both worked in previously, before your two before this gig that you have now.
Yeah.
Sorry, I've got some stuff going on in the background. I'm not sure what it is. Um, we had lifers there that were let go because they were there for so long. And I don't think we're seeing that quite as much now.
We're not. Matter of fact, I read a report that said that companies are now more willing to keep mediocre to bottom performers because of the fear of not getting qualified candidates into the door. So they're hanging on to those people longer than they should. They're not writing them up as much as they were. They're not getting rid of them as fast as they were. So
Yep.
people that aren't performing or aren't doing, we're not talking about people that maybe having a bad month or something. We're talking about like bottom performers, like people that just don't care, aren't bought in,
Right.
barely there for a paycheck, barely doing what they're supposed to. They're hanging on longer because companies are afraid they're not going to be able to find somebody to fill a seat.
Yeah. Yep. 100% right, man. It's it's a it's an interesting time, right?
It
For
is.
for
It
any
is.
for anything in the world right now, especially jobs. So I wish you luck, man. I mean, that's a tough. It's a tough, long process.
It is. It is. And so the resume building, that's the first step, right?
Yep.
Okay. Now you have to have a cover letter.
Yeah,
Everybody
that's
wants a cover letter now. Okay, fine. I can do a cover letter. But here's what I'm not used to. I'm used to having one resume geared towards the job you want. You put it out, and then you do a cover letter for each job.
right.
Well, now I've got to adjust my resume and adjust the skills, even though I've got all my skills listed. But your resume can only hold so many skills. But if they don't match up to that job posting, you don't get pulled. So
Right.
now every time I put my resume in, I've got to adjust my resume and adjust those skills.
Hmm.
The other thing I'm running into is, during the pandemic when it hit, I had another job. And due to some unfortunate events, like most people went through with COVID and
Yep.
the shutdowns, I was impacted. And so I took a step down to provide for my family. So I went from a director position to a manager position.
Right.
A lot of these recruiters, they're very young and they're only looking at your last position when they're pulling your resume.
Yep.
And so they're like, oh, you're a manager. Would you step down to an individual contributor role? And I'm like, well, if I was only a manager and just became a manager, then maybe I would. But considering I've got years of director experience, if I step down to individual contributor, that damages my career where I can't make it back up. Now, I took a step down during the pandemic, like a lot of people did. So there's a reason for what I did, and I'm trying to work my way back up and work into those roles. And I've got the experience to prove it. I got the experience in spades.
Yeah.
But when they're pulling my resume, I'm talking to recruiters, and it takes me pointing out my full experience, which you can clearly see on my resume.
Yeah.
The job right below my last job says director in the title, says all my qualifications, the job before that. And when you look at my track record, okay, I've got a lot of experience. And they're like, oh yeah, you're well overqualified for this role. It's like, well, didn't you look at that before you even started down this road?
Right.
But they're
No.
not looking at, they're looking at your last position and moving on.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, I'll tell you. I mean, my resume was 2 pages. My resume is now 1 page. I think I put 4 jobs on there because it's just not. They don't look farther down. You know. I don't.
They don't. They don't. And the other thing is young recruiters nowadays, they don't understand it's not all about money. So either they're coming to you and like, oh, but the salary's good, or oh, but it's got really good benefits. Well, those are fine, but it's not all about money. If you want a career and you want something you're passionate about, it's not all about the money. Money's one thing, right? Don't get me wrong. I need a salary. I need a certain salary.
How's the culture?
How's the culture? What's the growth opportunities?
Yep.
And can I make a career out of this? If I were to take a step down, then I have to readjust my whole career and I'm basically starting over. And they don't seem to understand that. Now, your experienced recruiters, they get it. And the ones I've worked with, they completely get it. Like they're like, yeah, I understand. I know what you're looking for. I got you. And but some of the younger ones, they don't seem to understand.
Yeah.
Because they're having to go through so many applicants, they're missing things.
Yeah. Well, and it's funny you say overqualified because even me, for having however many years I had in digital marketing, when I interviewed for, it was probably 4 or 5 positions over a 2 week period. I was overqualified for half just because of the number of accounts that I dealt with at that previous company.
Yep.
I mean, I had 450 ish accounts maybe 400 by the time the pandemic was, whatever, it's not said and done, but by the time it started, people started dropping off because of money. And
Yep.
then, when we got back into it, but like simply because of the number of accounts that I held in my book of business, I was overqualified for what they were looking for. Oh, well, we just need people. I shit you not. I had a lady tell me, oh, we just need someone that can handle 12 accounts. My initial thought was like, bitch, I just handled 450. You don't think I can handle 12? Like, I don't get it. I don't get it, man. And salary was good. Benefits were good. It was remote. It was great. But she was like, yeah, we're looking for more entry level. So they're looking for somebody straight out of college, basically.
Yeah, they are, because the pay is going to be low.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
The other thing, and I don't know if you ran into this, but the other thing I'm running into is, okay, number one, you got to go through all the job searches, and there's so many jobs out there. It's a ton. So you almost go cross-eyed.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, how picky do I really be? Because I know I'm going to apply to a lot of jobs right now. There's a lot of people. Like before, you had like 30 people applying for, especially in the levels I'm looking for, like 30 applicants. Now you have hundreds.
Yeah.
So it's like, do I play the numbers game and do I apply to more jobs, or do I be picky and really concentrate on these few? And the reality is you kind of have to do both. You have to have some that you're just shotgunning things out to get your name in there. Then you have others that you concentrate really hard on.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, you put in the your resume, most likely you're not going to get a call back. There's a few, but most likely you're not going to get a call back after you've adjusted your resume to each position you applied, after you created a cover letter, after you had either paid or used benefits to get resumes and cover letters built for you to beat the algorithms. The next part is you have to go and network. You have to reach out to all your LinkedIn community, ask for endorsements, ask for recommendations. You have to go through and, you know, reach out to people that work for those companies you're applying to and be like, hey, can you bump my resume? Reach out to recruiters saying, hey, I'm interested in this job. Can you pull my resume? Like, you have to network even to get people to pull your resume, because they're so inundated. There's so many things that are coming through.
Yeah. Nope. You're 100% right. I mean, I got lucky, I think, because I didn't have to do any of that. The whole networking thing. I don't trust LinkedIn anymore. I don't. To me, it's just like Facebook. You know what I mean? I don't like. I haven't updated my job status on LinkedIn because it's one of the highest like phishing attacks, phishing attacked websites out there right now. Like people are gunning for LinkedIn. I mean, so I don't necessarily trust it. Indeed, a little bit more trustworthy, I think. That was kind of my go-to. But like I said, I got this gig through LinkedIn, so I guess it isn't all bad. But honestly, I forgot where I was going with this.
Well, speaking of trustworthiness, I'll tell you,
Jesus Christ.
this is one thing I found out. So when I started my search, I started with LinkedIn, added Indeed, and then I used a few other sites. You know, there's Glassdoor,
Oh yeah.
there's the Ladders, there's all these different sites out there now, ZipRecruiter. So did the two. Things are going as good as can be. Then I had Career Builder, and that was a mistake. And you know, I found a job 10 years ago on Career Builder. It was great, amazing.
Yep.
However, as soon as I put my information on Career Builder, number one, all the stuff they send me is junk.
Yep.
It's either stuff that by the time I apply, it's closed out, or they're not, their algorithms don't work as well as Indeed or LinkedIn. Like it isn't matching up for me.
Didn't they
The
get
other
bought?
thing,
They got bought too, didn't they? Didn't they get bought by somebody and then it just fucking tanked?
yeah, I think so. I think Monster Jobs, or maybe they're
Oh,
owned by Indeed. I don't know, but
yeah, who knows?
it, yeah. But the one thing that annoys me is, ever since I put my stuff on Career Builder, all of a sudden I get 10 calls a week minimum,
Yep.
especially at 6 o'clock in the morning. And I'm on the West Coast, 6 o'clock in the morning. People sitting there saying, hey, do you want to sell life insurance or work in this financial investments? And it's all commission only jobs.
Yeah. Pyramid schemes, man.
Yep. Prime America, life this, whatever, invest that, be your own manager, and nonstop. I got none of that until I put it on Career Builder.
Dude, I remember back in the day. I remember back in the day when I was working retail. I think I was working, it might have been, you remember the video store I worked at?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
It was there. It was there. I remember people, even when I was at Target in Jacksonville, Florida. I would get people that would just come in, and I'm a talkative guy. Like I talk to everybody. I don't give a shit. And they're like, "Hey, yeah, here's my card. Let's go meet up at Arby's, and we'll talk about a job." And so one time I did it, and sure enough, actually I did it twice. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I did it twice, and both times they were like, "Yeah, so we sell." Well, I think one was Primerica, the other one was something else, but it was an insurance type of thing where, like, if you sell this many, and it was literally a pyramid scheme. I'm like, get the fuck out of here, dude. I mean, thanks for the Arby's because it was free, but get the fuck out of here, man. You don't want me. You don't want me. I suck at sales, man. It's never been my thing.
That's the same thing with, like, some of these jobs are legit. Like, I get it. There's some people that can work them. I'm one where if I don't have guaranteed salary, I'm always worried about bringing in that money. So I sabotage myself because I'm so anxious and worried I can't capitalize.
Right.
Now, you give me a salary, I can upsell, cross sell, I can get
Same.
my teams to upsell, cross sell,
Yep.
not a problem. And you worked for me at one point, so
Yeah.
like you know how I operate. Like, and dude, gold, right? Gold.
Yep.
You put me in commission only, I flounder, man. I
Me
need
too.
that stability.
It's too, yeah, it's too much pressure, right? It's like boiler room. And it's funny you say that because I was a job recruiter too. I did that for almost a
That's
year.
right.
I
That's
did that
right.
for almost a year. And that was like, if our listeners have ever seen the movie Boiler Room, old school movie, Ben Affleck, bunch of good people in it. But it was literally like Boiler Room. Like you're literally cold calling people because you have to you have to like stalk them on LinkedIn. You have to stalk them on Facebook. You have to all sorts of things, right? At least back then, that's what it was. This has been years now, but back then, that's what we had to do. And if they were, seemed to be the right fit for the job, we had to cold call them. And it was just like sales, man. They're like, "Oh, yeah, you have to do this. You have to hit this quota. You have to hit this." Like, you know what? Go fuck yourself because I can't do it. I can't. I lasted almost a year, and I was like, I can't do it anymore. It's not worth it. I mean, the salary at that time was decent, but it took way too much effort, and I feel like being conniving, which I'm not, to hit specific bonuses that you had to hit every month. Because if you hit a certain number, you get a bonus. If you had a certain number of people at a dollar amount, because each job was based on a dollar amount. So you
Yep.
could have a $100 job or you could have a $15,000 job. It depended on, whether engineers or I don't know, one of the higher up ones. But it was just like Boiler Room, man. I mean, I couldn't take it. It was too much pressure, and I'm just not a pushy guy. So I was like, you know what, fuck it, I'm out. Peace.
You know, I feel like I feel like that's probably what a lot of the recruiters are going through right now.
Yeah. Oh
Because
yeah.
those recruiting companies are probably like, "Wow, we've never seen so much business. We got to capitalize while we can."
Yeah.
But then you sacrifice quality over quantity,
Correct.
and I kind of feel like that's what's happening right now. In the industry.
Yeah. It's all about the bottom line, man. It's all about that dollar. That's what it's about. I mean, the gig that I've got, um, the gig that I've got now is right up my alley, man. I absolutely love the company. I love the job. I love what we do. I love what we're, um, well, I don't sell, but I love what we're selling. Like
You got
a
to believe in the product you're selling.
right. And I do. And I think it's very warranted, especially in these times. And of course I get to talk to people on the phone, man. Like I get to meet, I mean, I've talked to like 5 Canadians today. I mean, I've got a guy in Australia, but listen, let's go ahead and cut this. We're gonna
Yeah, I think this is this is going to be a two-parter. I feel like there's just so much more left to talk about that I don't want to leave anything on the table. So I
Sure.
think we're going to end this episode here, and then we're going to do another episode and release it next week, continuing on this conversation.
Yeah. Sounds good, man. All right. Well, continue listening. We'll see you
Check
guys
out the
later.
website. We got a new
Yes.
website out on Wix. Check out, social media pages, TikTok, Facebook, Twitter, at Misguided Shenanigans everywhere, or Misguided Shenanigans. Subscribe, like, and follow everywhere, YouTube. And let us know what you think, guys, especially this episode, because I feel like this is near and dear to our heart and probably close to a lot of people's hearts. So, yeah,
It's what
other than
everything's
that,
saying. Yeah, man. All right, cool. We'll catch you. Peace.